hey, you know what? Sleep is great. We're gonna try new pods today, you guys. Because honestly, why not? Why not? Let's try these very own crazy pods. And they are not pumpkin spice or anything like that. It's just, you know. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Boom, boom. Hey, Amanda. How's it going, everybody? How's everyone feeling today? Feeling good? Feeling fine? Good morning to you. Just knocking everything over here like a crazy person. You know, like you do. Snake coffee for everybody. And by everybody, I mean the two of us who live here. Yes, she is out like a light. Hey, hey, how's everyone doing this morning? Feeling good, feeling fine? Mary, how's that carrier working for you? Hope you're liking it. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, so these look like they're smaller poles. We might need to add a shot to it, which is fine. You learn, you learn. And what's everyone doing today? Anything interesting? This tiny hand. Could you just... She's so precious. Poor little thing was struggling last night. She was up for an hour around midnight, which is unusual. Unusual. All the things, yes. All the mom things. Let's see. All the mom things, you request them. Yes, yes. Good food recs are super early. Lunch. Where are you, Amanda? Are you still at like downtown Disney? Let me know, and I can make a recommendation. Close to the airport. LAX up here? By me? Or are you at the airport down there? Oh, okay. Let me think. Give me a second. Well, if you want to come back over here, Playa Vista House is pretty good in there. Also, Seoul, which is the Mexican place in there. It's like modern Mexican food. Hey, Jade, really good. I'm trying to think. What else is over? Let me think about what's closer to the airport. Baby fevers. Oh, 102. Oh my gosh, that's terrible, Mary. Oh my gosh. Autumn has it? Hey, Nikki, how are you feeling? Speaking of not feeling well. Oh, poor little Autumn. She's such a sweetie pie. Such a cutie patootie. We have a doctor's appointment at 4 p.m. Crazy that they're making you wait till 4. Hey, Stephanie. We've got 2 Stephanies in the house today. We got Mommy Stephanie and Canadian Stephanie. That's how I will quantify them for book club. Makes sense, right? Good morning, Brittany. Good morning, everyone. Everybody wants to be a cat. Hallelujah. I don't know why I'm singing that. I'm sorry, you guys. Sometimes things just come out of my mouth and no one knows why. Where did y'all leave off last time? Pretty sure we just got to Neverland and they're headed to go get the pirates. You know? I'm pretty sure. Woo. Tylenol and ibuprofen. Yeah, you gotta keep it down. I can't believe they're making you wait till 4 p.m. That's crazy. That's really late for someone that young to have a fever that high. I've decided I must watch Peter Pan after this today. You know what? I think that's a great idea. Peter Pan is fantastic. It is a fantastique. Fantastique. All right, let's sit down. Say hi to the Monstera. Say hi to Anya. Put you guys on the beloved tripod. All right. Hey, Jen. Perfect timing. We're just sitting down. You are welcome. Autumn has a fever of 102, Becca, which feels not great. See you later, Amanda. Try to catch up on, like, maybe on the plane if you're bored, you can listen, because it's, you know, fun to do. All right, just having my coffee sips before we get started. Okay, so we are, let me just readjust real quick. No, thank you. Alternate game. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure. I can't believe they're making her wait till 4 p.m. to go in. She's too little. Oh, okay. So yesterday we got through 2 full chapters, and then we started the chapter of the adventure with the Lost Boys, but she was not having me finishing it, so we're halfway through that chapter. So we are on page 229 of chapter 17. It's almost done, and then we'll go on to chapter 18 and beyond. These are pretty small. Just wants mom to hold her, but I can't blame her. No, can't blame her either. Mary, if that isn't getting down, I'll take her elsewhere. Yeah. You know, you can always put her in the Medai on the front to, like, comfort her. That might, the one that I gave you that you've been using for back carrying, you can wear it on the front too. That might make it easier for you to hold her, you know, longer term for your arms purposes. And then she'll feel the cuddles. If meds are keeping it down, then okay. Yeah, I don't know. Mary, are the meds keeping it down? I'm really not sure. Mother Goose had a good look at the arrow sticking into Red and yanked it out. Red instantly came back to life and sat straight up. Easy, that hurts, she said. We had to back carry and prepare. Yes, so far meds are keeping it down to low hundreds. Okay. All right, well, you know, keep an eye on it and keep us posted, of course. Relax, your dress is so thick it was barely touching your skin, Mother Goose said. Peter, what's happening? Are the Indians attacking us? Connor asked frantically. Peter had a look at the flimsy arrow. Nope, he said. Indian arrows would have killed you by now. A group of 6 young boys charged out from the trees. They were howling animal noises and chanting war calls as they ran. They raised handmade bows and arrows, swords, hammers, and clubs into the air. All of them were filthy, and they wore clothes made of leaves, bark, animal skin, and whatever else they could find on the island. The boys came to a stop when they saw Peter standing with the newcomers. Peter! They all said in unison. Hello, boys, Peter said. I've returned to Neverland. They all cheered and jumped for joy. They seemed fairly easy to please. Lost boys, let me introduce you to my new friends, Peter said, but he wasn't very good with names. New friends, these are the Lost Boys, Toodles, Nibs, Slightly, Curly, and the twins. Each of the Lost Boys gave the newcomers a ferocious look and a growl as Peter called their names. They each tried to out-growl the previous one, but it wasn't intimidating in the slightest. No matter how loud they growled, they were just silly little boys. Toodles was the oldest of the boys and wore a pair of thick glasses. Nibs was very scrappy and missing most of the baby teeth, the most baby teeth of all of them. Slightly was the most sophisticated of the bunch, and he wore a tie made of vines. Curly was the chubbiest of the boys, and his clothes were very tight. The Lost Boys' twins were identical, and they were the youngest. They moved in such perfect synchronization that it was like they shared a brain. Look, it's the giant bird that we tried to shoot down, Toodles said and pointed at Lester. Let's get him before he flies away, Nib shouted. We'll cook him and we'll eat for days, Curly said. It's been ages since we had a proper meal, Slightly said. Attack! The Lost Twins said. The Lost Boys licked their lips and ran after Lester like savages. Lester hid behind Mother Goose, and Peter blocked the boys from attacking him. Aw, wiggly baby tooth. Oh, you're gonna meet the, well, not meet, but find out about the Tooth Fairy soon. Boys, leave the bird alone, Peter commanded. He's a friend of Alex, and any friend of Alex is a friend of mine. The Lost Boys slumped and kicked the sand. Yes, Peter, they said together. Their excitement quickly returned as soon as they saw the Tin Woodman. Look at that man, Toodles said. He's made of metal, Slightly said. We could turn him into an oven, Curly said. And weapons, Nib said. Attack! The Lost Twins said. The Lost Boys chased the Tin Woodman and tackled him to the ground. They chanted war calls and beat him with their weapons. Hey, stop that! Knock it off! The Tin Woodman said. The others couldn't believe what they were seeing. The Lost Boys were the worst behaved children in the universe. It was as if they were playing characters in a wild game of pretend, but that game never ended. And that's why I never reproduced, Mother Goose said. I don't think these children are qualified to help us, Red whispered to the twins. The twins were getting frustrated. They couldn't afford to lose any more time. Alex waved her hand and a strong wind blew the Lost Boys off of the Tin Woodman. They got to their feet and they huddled in fear. She's a witch, the Lost Boys yelled and pointed at her. No, I'm much scarier than a witch, Alex said. And if any of you brats try to hunt, shoot, or attack any of my friends again, I'll turn you all into birds and I'll hunt you myself. Peter, why would you bring a witch back to Neverland? Toodles asked him. I can't believe that Tink let you do this, Nib said. She's gonna give me nightmares, Curly confessed. Wait a second, where is Tink anyway? Slightly asked. Tinkerbell? The Lost Twins asked. The Lost Boys looked all around the island for their pixie friend, but she was nowhere to be found. Peter broke the news. Tinkerbell has been kidnapped. I brought Alex and her friends back to Neverland to help us rescue Tink from the man who stole her. Kidnapped? Curly said in shock. Not Tinkerbell, Toodles said and burst into tears. He'll pay for this, Nib said with a vengeful scream. But who kidnapped her? Slightly asked. Yeah, who? The Lost Twins asked. And Peter looked at Connor and Alex. Perhaps it was best if one of them explained it. Well, he's a terrible man who wants to recruit Captain Hook and the other pirates to a special army, Alex said. We've got to find him, and we've got to stop him before he leaves Neverland with the pirates and Tinkerbell. The Lost Boys shook with rage. They were furious someone would do this to their friend. We'll leave for the Jolly Roger at once, Nib said. We'll stop them from leaving with Tinkerbell, Toodles said. We'll show those pirates no mercy, Slightly said. And we'll take no prisoners, Curly added. Attack! The Lost Twins yelled. Each of the Lost Boys was more passionate than the next. They didn't need much explanation to get excited about something.
Guys, calm down. It's really not that simple, Connor said. This man that we're talking about isn't alone. He has wolves and crows and bees and flying monkeys and an army of winkies with him. We won't stand a chance if we just barge onto the ship and start a fight. We need to see the ship and come up with a plan to stop them. Once again, the Lost Boys slumped and they kicked the sand. All they wanted to do was attack something today. Was that really so much to ask? You heard him, boys, Peter said, and he flew into the air. Let's lead our new friends to the pirates and see what we're up against. He flew into the trees and the Lost Boys ran after him. The twins looked at the others and they shrugged. I guess we should follow him, Alex said. This is going to go horribly wrong, Red said. Well, there's not much else we can do, Mother Goose said. Let's just follow the Boy Scouts from Hades and hope for the best. They exchanged looks, each more apprehensive than the last, but Mother Goose was right. Peter quickly returned with some information that he had forgotten to share. Friendly warning, you need to watch your step, he said. The Lost Boys really like setting traps. They carefully followed Peter and the Lost Boys to the other side of the island. The Neverland jungles were filled with grotesque reptiles, repulsive insects, and it was a little boy's dream. Red almost had a panic attack at the sight of them. She closed her eyes and she let the twins guide her so that she could pretend that she was somewhere else. They arrived in Pirates Bay and hid behind a boulder on the beach. Boy Scouts from Hades, I know, right? Pretty funny. The Jolly Roger was an enormous ship made of red and black wood and took up the majority of the bay. Alex and Connor did not have too much experience with pirate ships, but Captain Hook's was by far the most impressive they had ever seen. They heard lots of voices and activity coming from the ship, but the Jolly Roger was so tall they couldn't see anything that was happening inside. Can we get any closer? Connor asked. Not without the pirates seeing us, Peter said. A small rowboat was lowered off the ship. It only had one passenger, and the twins didn't need to be any closer to recognize him. Connor, look, Alex said. It's Uncle Lloyd. What is he doing? Connor asked. He didn't appear frustrated or defeated as if the pirates were kicking him off the ship. No, on the contrary, he looked rather excited. Lloyd rowed the boat to the center of the bay, and he stopped. He waved a white handkerchief at the ship, and the pirates watched from the crow's nest and waved a handkerchief back at him, and then whistled to the pirates that were on the deck. The sails were raised and they filled the sky, soaking up the ocean breeze. The Jolly Roger crept into the bay, heading directly for Lloyd and the rowboat. Lloyd pulled out the blue potion bottle from his lapel pocket and poured a few drops of it onto the red book. A bright beam of light shined directly out of it and toward the sky. Oh no, he and that book are going to get crushed if he doesn't get out of the way, Mother Goose said. Granted, my knowledge about ships isn't that great. I was only on the Mayflower for one weekend. The twins watched in anticipation. What could their uncle possibly have up his sleeve now? To their astonishment, the Jolly Roger rose out of the water and flew into the air. How is that possible? Red gasped. They must have pixie dust from Tink over the entire ship, Peter said. It flew over the rowboat and into the beam of light. The entire ship, the pirates, and everyone else on board disappeared from Neverland, and the entire thing entered the Red Book's story. Lloyd cheered from the rowboat as he watched the ship vanish. Another phase of his plan was complete. The twins' uncle wrapped a heavy chain around the book's back cover. In one swift move, he jumped into the beam himself and then dropped the book into the ocean. Lloyd disappeared and the Red Book sank to the bottom of the bay. The twins looked at, and the onlookers ran from behind the boulder and stared at the bay in disbelief. I can't believe he did it, Alex said. He left not only with Captain Hook and the pirates, but their whole ship, too. Did they just travel inside a magic book? Peter asked the twins. Don't start asking questions now, kid, Mother Goose said. Your head's gonna explode. We've got to get that book, Connor said, eyeing the water. All right, raise your hand if you're a good swimmer. Nibs, I'm assuming it's you. The bay is too deep for any human to reach the bottom, Peter said. But I know something that can reach the bottom. Boys, we gotta take our friends to the lagoon. To the lagoon. I think we all know who's in the lagoon, right, guys? Drop an emoji if you know who's in the lagoon. If you've seen Peter Pan, you know who's in the lagoon. It's not a spoiler for this book. There's only one thing in a fairy tale lagoon, and that's mermaids. Chapter 18, Mermaid Lagoon. Peter and the Lost... Both, Nikki? Both. I can't choose. Robin Williams as Peter is top tier goodness, and I won't hear otherwise. But also Disney is good too. Hook is phenomenal. One of the best movies ever made, in my opinion. Oh no, sad? Why sad? That was such a short nap. Why so short? Why so short? Okay, hold on. Give mommy a second. Shh. You need out? What's wrong? That was so short. You don't want such a short nap, do you? Hey, let's talk. You don't want a short nap. Short nap is sad nap. Don't you want a better nap? Don't you want a better nap? Hey. No CBs? You don't want more CBs? You want to go in the playpen? That was such a short nap, my angel. Oh, look, you dropped your Chewy. You want this? Look. Oh, so nice, Chewy. You want out? Hi. Hi, baby. You want to go in the playpen or do you want more nap? That was a good burp. You're really all done already? 8:45 is such an early time to wake up. Yes, she's learning so many new skills and she is definitely having sleep regressions. Yes, it is true. All right, you want to go in the playpen? You can go in the playpen. Okay. Okay. Mommy's coming. Look, here. I even tossed the book ahead of me. See, that's how you know I'm coming. Okay. Oh, wow. I found the block that you chucked out of here this morning. She was just throwing the stuff out of the playpen this morning. Rufio, Rufio. She put the piggies out here. She put the blocks out here. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? All right, you ready for a Santa slide? Are we ready for a Santa slide? Are we ready for a Santa slide? Are we ready for a Santa slide? It's time for a mermaid chapter. The live had restrictions. They lie. They lie. You know they lie, Jen. I want this. I'm going to tell you what I want. I want the ability for all my regulars to never be filtered. Never. We did get the box. We're going to go through it on a live. Yeah. Oh, yeah? You want to do that? Yeah, my mom brought it. My mom was like, you got 50 books. I was like, I did. Are you excited? She's grinning from ear to ear. Did you think if they threw stuff, I'd let them out? I think that's what she thinks too. And then she'll like reach for the stuff and she can't reach it. And she's like, the heck? And I'm like, you threw it out there. We're both in here. I'm not even out there to get it. Right? You think that's funny? You have your block back in your throat. Block. Block. Oh, raspberries. It does matter, Becca. Thank you. All right, shall we keep reading? Yes? You have a very wet chin. Can you use your jewel cloth? Yeah. Okay. Chapter 18 is called Mermaid Lagoon. Mermaid Lagoon, sweetheart. Are you ready? Peter and the Lost Boys led the others to the part of Neverland where Mermaid Lagoon was located. The lagoon was the most serene place they had been to on the island thus far. The shallow water was separated from the ocean by a reef wall. It was shaded entirely by tall willow trees that grew out of the edge of the water. I know, it sounds beautiful, right? Boulders were sprinkled throughout the water, allowing Peter and the twins and the Lost Boys to hop from rock to rock until they reached the center of the lagoon. Yeah, mermaids are coming. Pretty cool, right? Say, yeah. Yeah. Or eat your block, whichever you prefer. Mother Goose, Lester, and Red waited on the land where they knew it was safe. You wouldn't do that. You would go hopping, wouldn't you? Connor leaned over his rock and looked into the water, but all he saw were small fish swimming between the boulders. Do you think that they'll be willing to help us? Alex asked. I know. Yeah. Yeah. He say, yeah. She says, no, I will eat this block. Oh, I'm glad, Brianna. I'm not sure, but we've never asked them for help before, Peter said. They like me, and they usually try drowning the Lost Boys whenever they get too close. Can you repeat that? Connor asked with a gulp, and suddenly a webbed hand with long nails shot out of the water and grabbed Connor's foot. More hands appeared throughout the lagoon and tried pulling the twins and the Lost Boys into the water, but they helped one another kick the hands away. Dozens of mermaids had arrived, and they were nothing like the twins had expected. Unlike the colorful and angelic mermaids in the fairy tale world, the mermaids of Neverland were nasty and sinister-looking creatures. Oh no! Their skin was slimy and so pale that it practically glowed. They had red, slanted eyes and thin, flat nostrils. That's crazy, right, honey? Instead of hair, they had long fins that stuck straight up like mohawks, and they had several piercings and wore small fish bones as jewelry. Ugh. I thought the Neverland mermaids were supposed to be beautiful, Connor whispered to his sister. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, Alex whispered back. What are you doing in our part of the island? The mermaid closest to Connor hissed. She wore a necklace of shells that the other did not, so he figured she must have held some kind of authority among the other mermaids. Hey, look, no, we don't mean any harm, Connor said. We've come to your lagoon to ask a favor. The mermaid blinked a couple of times and flared her nostrils. She exchanged a confused look with the other mermaids, but none of them understood what he was talking about. What's a favor? The mermaid asked. It's something you do for someone when they need help, Alex said, and the mermaids took a moment to process this and then howled with laughter. They exposed their jagged shark-like teeth. We don't do favors, the mermaid said, especially not with the Lost Boys. The lagoon erupted in chaos as the Lost Boys and the mermaids insulted one another. The twins couldn't let this continue any longer. It was wasting time, and the mermaids were still their only hope. Silence! Alex yelled. I want all the Lost Boys to go back to land, and my brother and I will talk to the mermaids alone. The boys separated from the creatures, exchanging a couple more insults and splashes as they went. We aren't going to get anywhere with favors, Alex said to the mermaids, so why don't we negotiate a trade? That depends, the mermaid said. What's a trade? It's when you give something and you get something in return. Hey, Isabella, Alex explained. Look, we can't blame you for not liking the Lost Boys, Connor said. We just got here and we can't stand them either. But if you could pick one thing that the Lost Boys did that annoys you the most, what would you choose? The mermaids looked at one another and thought this over. They spoke to one another in high-pitched growls and clicks. Apparently, they had their own language. Is that your mermaid growl? Very nice mermaid growl. Good job. High five. High five for mommy. Thank you. I appreciate that. They take all of our fish, the mermaid hissed. They have plenty of food to hunt on land and in the sky, but we're limited to the fish in the water. Wonderful, Alex said and clapped her hands. So if we convince the Lost Boys to stop fishing in your waters, will you do something in return for us? Yeah, wolf, mermaid, whatever. What do you want in return? There's a book wrapped in a chain at the bottom of Pirates Bay, Connor said. We need you to retrieve it for us. And once again, the mermaids exchanged growls and clicks. Their language sounded like a mix of dolphin and bat sounds. Yes, the mermaid said. That's a trade we're willing to make. Great, Alex said. Hold that thought. The twins hopped across the boulders and back to land and filled the Lost Boys in on the trade that they had negotiated with the mermaids. What? We'll never stop fishing. No way, Peter said. Fishing is one of the Lost Boys' favorite things to do. Do you ever want to see Tinkerbell again or not? Connor yelled. And Peter and the Lost Boys sighed and nodded their heads. The twins returned to the mermaids with good news. It's settled, Alex said. Enjoy your fish. The mermaids looked back and forth between the twins and the Lost Boys. They weren't sure if they liked this whole trading thing, but they weren't going to be the first ones to break their end of the bargain. We'll meet you at Pirate Bay, the mermaid told the twins, and she clicked at the other mermaids and they dove below the waters. The twins and their friends returned to Pirate Bay as quickly as they could. The mermaids were waiting for them in the water when they arrived. Alex and Connor told them exactly where they had seen the book sink, and the mermaids went to retrieve it. They resurfaced a few moments later and handed the twins the book. "Thank you so much," Alex said. "We promised that the Lost Boys..." Baby girl, what you doing? I know. It's so exciting. The tripod is so exciting. Here, why don't you come over here? Why don't you play with... Can you play with the bears? Look at these bears. Wow. So fun. Here, Mommy will put the bears all the way at the top, and you can knock them all the way down. How about that? Oops. There you go. Okay. And Becca said she likes it, honey. "We promised the Lost Boys will keep their end of the trade, right?" "Right," the Lost Boys repeated unenthusiastically. The mermaids splashed them one more time and swam away. Alex unraveled the damp book from the chains and read the title to the others. "Alice's Adventures in Wonderland," she said. "Lloyd must be going after the Queen of Hearts and the Card Soldiers next. Do you still have a tripod she broke? If so, let her play with that one." We don't. We threw it away in Florida. We didn't bring it back because it was like, why travel with a broken one? But I'm afraid it's not baby friendly to play with anyway. I don't think I would let her play with it because she might like bash herself in the face with it, you know? She's not big on self-preservation yet. The Tin Woodman mistook this as good news. "The Queen of Hearts," he said with a smile. "Don't get so excited. She's loud and she's awful," Connor said, and then he let out a long sigh. "This trip just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it?" "Are you going to travel inside the magic book like the Jolly Roger did?" Peter asked. Alex and Connor nodded. "Yeah, we don't have a choice," Alex said. "It's the only way we're going to stop them, if we even can at this rate." "Well, then I'm coming with you," Peter declared. "I'll not rest until Tinkerbell is back in Neverland with me and the Lost Boys." "That is awfully brave of you, Peter, but it's going to be very dangerous," Connor said. "You could get seriously hurt or even killed." Peter retrieved his dagger and raised it to the sky. "To die will be an awfully big adventure," he proclaimed. Alex and Connor looked at each other, thinking the same thing. They weren't going to get rid of him at this rate. Rather than spending time arguing, the twins went right to forming the next phase of their own plan. "Okay, well, one of us needs to stay in Neverland and look after the books," Alex said. "Who's it going to be this time?" The twins, the Tin Woodman, Mother Goose, and Lester all turned to Red. Her eyes grew large and her whole body tightened. Every part of her rejected this idea. "Oh no, don't even think about it," she said. "I am not staying on this island." Could have been a decoy one, maybe get it. Yeah, no, you don't have to stop. No, I mean, it was a fair suggestion. If she was a little older, it would make a lot of sense. I think what I need is like, I don't know what I need. A clip-on one. I wonder if I could clip one to the side of the playpen. That's not a bad idea. That does sound like a pretty solid plan. Red, I don't mean to sound rude, but you are the leastful? No. Let's try that again. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee and we're gonna try that again. Red, I don't mean to sound rude, but you are the least useful in the group, Connor said. We need you to stay here and to make sure nothing happens to the book. Yeah, least useful. A bike mount or a desk mount. Yeah, a fixer and you're not asking roaches. I said it was off. Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. I would do the same thing. "These savages already shot me once," Red said, and she pointed at the Lost Boys. "What do you think they're going to do to me when I'm alone?" "Red, I promise you'll be safer here than you would be in Wonderland," Alex said, and Red could not believe her ears. She might as well have been persuaded to walk off a cliff. The twins didn't give her any more chances to argue, though. Before she knew it, Connor was handing her their copy of Peter Pan as if it was a final decision. "Boys, I order you to listen to Miss Red," Peter instructed. "I want you to protect her and make her really comfortable while we're away. Treat her like you would treat your own mother." The Lost Boys were very excited by this idea. Red looked like she was going to be sick. "Yes, sir," Toodles said, and he saluted Peter. "Now, just 1 minute. Am I supposed to sleep in the jungle?" Red asked, but none of her friends were listening anymore. "Of course not. We'll build you a home," Nibs said. "I don't like the sound of that." "I've always wanted a mother," Slightly said. "Well, keep dreaming," Fred replied. "Can we call you Mother, Miss Red?" Curly asked. Certainly not. Mother! The twins shouted. We have a mother, we have a mother, we have a mother, the Lost Boys chanted. Did you turn this over? You want help? Where are all the pieces? Here's one. Red felt like her friends had just fed her to a pack of hungry wolves. She tried to fight the decision, but it was too late. The twins, the woodman, Mother Goose, Lester, and Peter were already gathered around the book. Alex opened Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and a beam of light shot into the sky. We'll have to get to the Queen's palace as quickly as possible, she said. If we don't catch up with Lloyd in that story, we might never stop him. They entered the beam and departed Neverland, hoping with all their heart that Wonderland would be their final stop. Should we go down the rabbit hole, sweet girl? That's the next chapter. Chapter 19 is called Down the Rabbit Hole. Page 245. The twins and their friends traveled into Alice's Adventure in Wonderland safely and took the newly formed environment in. Once again, Connor picked the book up and tucked it safely away, this time into Lester's saddle. To quote my friend Amelia Earhart, boy, am I glad to get off that island, Mother Goose said. I wouldn't be surprised if Tinkerbell got herself kidnapped on purpose just to get away from those awful children. Is this Wonderland? The Tin Woodman asked. Doesn't look very wondrous to me, Peter said and crossed his arms. In fact, it looks just like the English countryside. That's because it is the English countryside, Alex said. Trust me, once we get to Wonderland, you'll know it. The countryside was very picturesque. Rolling green hills and trees of all kinds surrounded them, and a quiet river ran beside them. It was very comfortable outside, and judging from the different shades of golden leaves, the twins figured it was the beginning of autumn. The noises they heard from down the river, they realized they weren't alone. A young woman escorted a little girl out of the trees and across a stone bridge. They appeared to be in the middle of an argument. The twins and their friends hid behind the trees. Oh, you want the Ellie book? Here, Mommy will get it. Why did you put it outside if you wanted it? Where is Ellie? Where is Ellie hiding? Is she behind a plant? No, that's a teapot. We mustn't leave the bank at a time like this, the little girl fussed. She was a very pretty child, and she held a small cat in her arms. She wore a bow in her hair and a lacy apron over her dress. Alice, I'm taking you home so that Mother can put you down for a nice nap, the young woman said. She was pretty too. She looked like an older version of her sister. You're the worst sister in the world, Alice said. If you had seen the flying pirate ship, I would have believed you. Dinah saw it too, and it gave her quite a shock, the poor dear. She kissed the cat's forehead and cradled her tightly. In Alice's defense, the cat did look utterly freaked out. Well, then I'm afraid you've both gone mad, her sister said. Now come along. If you mention that pirate ship one more time, I'm going to have a word with Father. The sister took Alice by the hand, and they crossed the bridge and headed home. We're definitely in the right place, Connor said. Certainly are, Alex said. All we need now is the... And then something white and fluffy dashed across the countryside in the distance and caught their attention. What is that? The Tin Woodman asked. That's our ticket to Wonderland, Alex said. Quick, everyone follow that rabbit. It's not white, but we have a bunny just the same. Pretend this is the white rabbit. White rabbit, honey. Well, teal rabbit, honey. The twins, the Tin Woodman, Peter, Mother Goose, and Lester sprinted across the countryside after that furry animal. He hopped along the dirt path and then dashed into the trees. It was hard to follow him with all the leaves and tall grass obstructing their view, but luckily the white rabbit paused every few hundred yards or so. He would remove a golden watch from his pocket and of his waistcoat, and he would check the time. Oh dear, I'm terribly late, the white rabbit said and raced deeper into the countryside. She's chewing on the rabbit now in case everyone wants an update on what's going on. They chased the white rabbit over a tall hill and into a small valley. They all gasped and came to a halt. The enormous Jolly Roger was lying on its side in the valley. Thankfully, the ship appeared to be vacant, as if the pirates had just parked it there. The white rabbit hopped onto the hedge and climbed into a wide hole under the hedge's roots. The twins and the others caught up to the hedge just a moment before the rabbit disappeared. They stared into the rabbit hole while they caught their breath. Before we go down there, it's important that everyone know a few facts about Wonderland, Alex said. Now she decides to give us a heads up, Mother Goose said. Wonderland is a place of trickery and confusion, Alex said. Nothing makes sense and nothing is as it seems. We all have to stay together at all times so no one traveled too far from the group. Don't trust a word that anyone says, and no matter how friendly they seem, Wonderland will drive you mad if you aren't careful. They all took a deep breath and rallied some courage. Okay, on the count of 3, we'll jump inside. 1, 2, 3! And they all jumped into the rabbit hole and fell down a long, dirt tunnel. Yeah, they fell and they fell, faster and faster, but there was no end in sight. They started seeing cupboards and bookshelves peculiarly long placed along the walls of the tunnel as they went. They assumed that this meant they were getting closer, but they were sadly mistaken. "Are you sure this is the right rabbit hole?" the Tin Woodman asked. "Yeah, this one appears to be endless. I'm positive," Alex said. "Yes, honey?" "What's the matter, honey?" "Yes?" "What is it, sweetheart? You want this?" "Yeah." "All right, well, let's speed things up then," Mother Goose said. She shaped her hands like a gun and she fired an invisible bullet into the space above them. Bam! A huge explosion went off, pushing them down the tunnel at rocket speed. The blast rattled the tunnel and all the cupboards and bookshelves fell off the dirt wall and down the tunnel after them. The twins and their friends finally reached the end of the tunnel and landed on a soft pile of leaves and twigs. They looked up and they saw an avalanche of carpentry headed straight for them. "Look out!" Connor yelled, and they jumped to their feet and dived away from the pile of leaves. The cupboards and the bookshelves from the tunnel crashed to the ground and created a mountain of broken wood, glass, and teacups. It piled so high that it blocked the rabbit hole. "I hope we weren't planning on going back that way," Mother Goose said, and they found themselves in a long, low hall. The walls were lined with doors of all shapes, sizes, and colors. There wasn't a single doorknob that was alike. Mother Goose and the Tin Woodman and Peter tried opening all the doors, but they were locked. "None of these doors will open," Peter said. "It's all right," Alex said. "We're not using any of them anyway." Alex went to the back of the hall where there was a curtain hung. She moved the curtain aside and revealed a tiny door that was about only a foot tall, and looked through the tiny keyhole. On the other side, she saw a beautiful garden. It was Wonderland. "This is the door we need," Alex said, and she got to her feet and looked all around the hall. Now, there should be a golden key somewhere. Alex found a glass table pushed to the side, but there was no key on top of it like she was expecting. "Oh no," she said. "Uncle Lloyd must have taken the key with him when he passed through. We're gonna have to find another way in. Everyone stand back. I'm gonna enchant it." Crash! Without instruction, the Tin Woodman just kicked the small door open. "Apologies," he said. "I figured that this would be faster." Alex looked like she was about to kiss him. "Oh, good thinking." "How are we all going to fit through that door?" Mother Goose said. "Lester's never going to squeeze through something that small." Lester gave her a dirty look as if to say, "But you will." "There should be a bottle somewhere that makes us shrink." Oh, sorry, wrong voice. "There should be a bottle somewhere that makes us shrink." "Oh, look, here it is," Connor said, and he found the bottle with a ribbon tied around it on top of the glass table. The ribbon read, "Drink me." And Connor uncorked the bottle. "All right, bottoms up," he said. And just as he was about to take a sip, Peter knocked the bottle out of his hand. It hit the floor and shattered, and liquid spilled everywhere. "What did you do that for?" Connor yelled. "We needed that." "Connor, look at the floor," Alex said, and the others backed away from the spill. The liquid rotted the floor, turning the checkered tile into a nasty brown. "I knew that bottle wasn't from this place," Peter said. "That's from Hook's ship. That's poison. They must have switched the bottles knowing that we'd follow them." The twins sighed with relief. They were so glad that Peter insisted on coming. "How are we going to fit through the door?" the Tin Woodman asked. "I'll shrink us," Alex said. It had been a while since her powers had backfired on her, and she hoped this wasn't the moment they would break that streak. She closed her eyes and focused hard as she could. Alex pointed at each of them, and light swirled around their bodies, shrinking them all to under a foot tall. "You just practicing your dancing? You singing and dancing? Baby, baby, baby. Hi." Alex pointed at each of them, and light swirled around their bodies, shrinking them all to under a foot tall. Once she changed them without trouble, she shrunk herself. "Nice job," Connor said, and gave his sister a hug. The freshly shrunken group hurried through the smashed doorway and entered the gardens of Wonderland. Just as Alex had said, the others knew they were in it the very second they laid eyes on it. They felt like they had entered a painting. It was bright and colorful, but everything was oddly proportioned, as if this world was filled with abstract pieces of art. Everything moved slightly too as if it were swaying in a breeze, but there was no wind. "Look at those flowers," Peter said, and he pointed to the garden ahead. The flowers were extraordinary, and they were disturbing. Each flower grew as tall as they were. They were gorgeous colors and had beautiful plump petals. However, each flower also had a face. They turned to the newcomers and slowly watched them walk by. "Remember, they love to trick people in Wonderland," Alex whispered. "Don't talk to any of them." "Hello there," a rose said. "Welcome to the garden," a tulip said. "Wouldn't you like to stay and hear us sing a song?" an orchid asked the group. They looked and took Alex's advice to heart, walking past the flowers without making eye contact. They kept their eyes on the ground until they were out of the garden. "If I haven't seen that in a nightmare before, I definitely will now," Connor said, and they looked up, and their hearts beat with excitement. In the distance, at the edge of the wood of very tall trees, they saw the white rabbit. He had paused again to look at his watch. Oh dear, I'm very late," the rabbit said frantically. "I must hurry to the castle before the queen leaves." He dashed into the woods and chased after him. They chased after him. The rabbit hopped down the paved path, but it was very difficult to follow him because the path had a mind of its own. Are all the blocks in the corner? Can you get them? It went sideways, curled upside down, and coiled up the trees. It sometimes ended for no reason, and they had to turn around. Unfortunately, they lost track of the white rabbit, and he vanished from sight. What a bummer. Yeah, is that a bummer? Yeah? Yeah. They took the path in the direction they last saw him, and they came to a fork. The path split into two different directions. There was a large silver fork stuck into the ground. An actual fork, you guys, not a fork. It's a fork in the road. Get it? Okay, sorry. I love Alice in Wonderland. I think it's just delightfully humorous. "Which way do we go?" Connor said. "I don't know," Alex responded. "I just have to ask for directions, I guess." You think that's funny? You think that's a funny joke, a fork in the road? Oh. You might have, Becca. You might have. I mean, okay, I'm going to say this with all the love I can muster. There's no way that Lewis Carroll wasn't autistic. I mean, let's just be real about it, right? He was a wackadoodle. And a loving wackadoodle, but like total wackadoodle. Not that being autistic makes you a wackadoodle. Lewis Carroll was just actually a wackadoodle. And autistic, both. They're not mutually exclusive. It's what it is, right? Right, sweetheart? Becca, I think both, actually. I think on extracurriculars, I think, here's the thing. I think if I had to make an educated guess based on my studies, he had a lot going on, and it was hard to process, and he self-medicated to get through it because they didn't have medication for those things yet. And so he was like, how do I calm my brain, you know? And so he was probably on some psychedelics, but like to help himself, you know? That's my, yeah, exactly. Because they didn't, there wasn't a lot of options, you know? And he was clearly a little bit struggly. He was having some struggles, that guy. Anyway, that's just it's a fairly educated opinion. She's waving at you guys. She thinks you're very entertaining. Are you waving at everybody? Say hi. Very good. Say hi. 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 Raspberries. They said hi to you. Sloth says hi. Okay, you want to sit down and play with something while Mommy finishes this? Yeah? Do you want to play with your bears while Mommy finishes this? Look at the bears. What's this? Wow. Can you get that bear down? I bet you can. We might have to ask for directions. But you said not to trust anyone here, Peter said. I know, but we don't have much choice right now, Alex said. We'll take the path to the right and ask the first person, plant, or animal that we see. My niece just heard you say hi. Oh, other babies saying hi. Other babies are saying hi to you. Hi. 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 Oh, she's waving. That's very nice. You're doing a great job waving. They followed the path to the right and traveled out of the woods, and they found themselves entering a forest of another kind. There were mushrooms everywhere they looked. They varied from the size of normal mushrooms to the size of houses. There were polka dot mushrooms, plaid mushrooms, rainbow mushrooms, and mushrooms of every pattern and imaginable color. This place is nuts, Connor said. An odor filled the air as they continued into the mushroom forest. Oh, I recognize that smell, Mother Goose said. It reminds me of Morocco. They figured that someone must have been causing it, so they followed the scent off of the path. Really? Okay, that's a thought. Yes. To you too. Can you sit down and let Mommy finish this chapter? She did growl at them. She knows Mommy and Daddy don't like mushrooms, huh? Yucky. I know. Yeah, very. I agree. Gross. Eventually, they found the source of the smell, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Thank you, Sawyer. Yeah, the raspberries are funny. Can you sit down, honey? Can you sit down? 1, 2, ha-boom! Look, what's this? What's this? Where is Ellie hiding? Is she behind the plant? No, that's a teapot. Yeah, it's pretty funny, right? In the middle of the fungal forest, they found an enormous caterpillar lounging on top of a mushroom and smoking from a hookah. He was blue with dark spots and very obese, even for caterpillar standards. His antennae were wrapped around his head like a turban. The caterpillar's eyes were glazed over as if he were half asleep, and he blew smoke rings into the air. Excuse me, Mr. Caterpillar, Alex said, approaching his mushroom. I hope we're not bothering you, but would you kindly point us in the direction of the Castle of Hearts? Who are you? He asked the group in a drowsy voice. My name is Alex, and this is my brother Connor, and these are our friends Mother Goose, Lester, Mr. Woodman, and Mr. Peter. What are you? The caterpillar asked. Well, we're all different, she said. I'm a girl, those two are boys, she's an old woman, that's a goose, and he's a man made of metal. The caterpillar giggled. Different, but same. Huh? Different, but same, he repeated. And he found it just as funny the second time. Or so it appears. Alex turned back to the others, but none of them had any clue what he was talking about. I'm afraid I don't understand, she said. Lost, he stated. Was that a question? Alex asked. The question to you, 'tis a fact to me, the caterpillar said. Alex was so confused now she shook her head. Sweetheart, please. The others felt their sanity slipping from their brains just being in proximity to this caterpillar. This is going great, Connor said with a massive eye roll. This worm is clearly insane. Let's find someone who can actually help us. All right, let me handle this one, kids, Mother Goose said. Look, here. He's not crazy. The hookah's just making his brain sleepy. I might understand him if I get on his level. Mother Goose walked up to the caterpillar. Do you want this? Oh, look, it's your otter from Aunt Becca. You were showing it to Grandma earlier. Do you want to play with it? Yeah, that's nice, huh? Mother Goose walked up to the caterpillar and had a bouncy seat on the mushroom beside him. All right, may I? She asked and gestured to the hookah. The caterpillar passed it to her and Mother Goose smoked it. After a few moments, her eyes became as glassy as his, and she also spoke in complete nonsense. Who are you? Mother Goose asked the caterpillar. What am I? He said. Where are you? She said. Here with you, the caterpillar said. And if this were the Castle of Hearts, Mother Goose asked, we'd be there, the caterpillar said. But where? She asked. In the castle, he said. Ah, so there would be here, she said, and the two nodded together. Sweetheart, look it's your water mat. Oh, so cool. Yeah. Here would be what's left, the caterpillar then nodded. Am I what's left? She asked. You're what's right, of course. But what's right is wrong, and what's left is right. I understand completely, Mother Goose said. Thank you so much, Mr. Caterpillar. The others stared at them, completely dumbfounded. Mother Goose hopped down from the mushroom and moseyed on back to them. The caterpillar said, go back to the fork in the road and take a left. He did? Alex asked. It's all about the key words, Mother Goose said. I used to be friends with the Sultan who enjoyed hookah too. Lester, I'm going to need you to carry me the rest of the way because I am awfully tired. They left the mushroom forest and returned to the fork in the path and traveled left instead of right. They followed the path through Wonderland until they came to a sign that read Castle of Hearts, and it pointed up the road toward a very steep hill. An enormous structure was perched at the top of the hill. The windows were shaped like hearts, and the flags flying from the tower bore hearts as well. That's it, Alex said. It's the Queen of Hearts' castle. They ran up the hill to the castle and found themselves in the Queen's gardens. There were rose bushes throughout the gardens. Most of the roses were red, and the others were white, and there were some that looked like a mix of the two. After further inspection, they realized that all the red flowers had been painted. It was only then that they noticed that the garden was littered in bushes and paint cans. It was as if the project had come to an abrupt stop, and the twins were pretty sure they knew why. Let's go inside the castle, Alex said. Maybe the Queen of Hearts and her card soldiers will still be there. Sweetheart, what's wrong? You have all your things right here. Look, here's your phone. They walked across the drawbridge and entered the Castle of Hearts. Much to the Tin Woodman's delight, there were hearts everywhere. The rugs were covered in hearts. The wallpaper was covered in hearts. The art of the walls was hearts. Every door, archway throughout the castle shaped like hearts. Gosh, it's like Valentine's Day threw up in here, Connor said. And despite the decor, they found the castle very disheartening. Here you go, let's open it. Look, let's open this so you can see. Oh, there's Minnie's bow. Wow. No one's here, Alex said, and tears came to her eyes. We're too late again. Uncle Lloyd has already taken everyone. We'll never catch up to him. Yeah, we will, Connor said. Even if we have to travel into every book that's ever been written, we're going to find him and stop his army. Everyone, keep your eyes open for a book. They could have stashed it anywhere. They searched every corner of the castle, but they came up empty-handed. They walked down a long corridor through a pair of enormous heart-shaped double doors. The room behind the doors was massive and square. There was a giant throne at the other end of the room and a large platform at the center with a heart-shaped axe resting on top of it. Above them, the room was lined with rows and rows of benches. It was enormous enough to seat thousands of people. What is this place? Like a stadium or something? Connor said. It's a courtroom, Alex responded. This is where the Queen of Hearts has people beheaded. Alex walked closer to the throne and accidentally kicked something. A flat object slid across the floor. She looked down and she saw that it was a book. It was covered in a blue jacket with the title, A Treasury of Fairy Tales. I found it, Alex called to the others. It's the treasury Red was talking about. Connor, they returned to the fairy tale world already. Yeah, right? Yeah. The twins felt sick to their stomach. Their uncle had succeeded. He formed a literary army of villains that he had been dreaming about since he was a child, and now he was leading it to the fairy tale world to destroy it. Okay, we gotta get back as soon as possible, Connor said. They must have just entered the fairy tale world. They couldn't have gone very far. We'll regroup with Jack, Goldilocks, Red, and go straight to the fairy council. We'll show them Peter and the Tin Woodsman, and they'll have to believe us. We'll round up the armies of the other kingdoms, and we'll take our uncle down. Alex opened the Treasury of Fairy Tales, and a beam of light shot straight up from his pages. We'll save time if we split up, Alex said. Mother Goose and I will go to the Fairy Council and show them the Tin Woodman and Peter. Connor, you travel back into Neverland and Oz and gather up the others. Travel back to the cave and start warning the kingdoms about what's coming. Everyone nodded. It was the best plan they could make, and given the time and circumstances. Connor retrieved their copy of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland from Lester's saddle. Alex, be careful, Connor said and gave her a hug. You too, she said. Alex, Mother Goose, and Lester quickly traveled into the beam of light and they disappeared from the Castle of Hearts. Connor opened Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. However, just as he was about to step back into Neverland, a winged creature swooped through the courtroom and stole the book. What the heck? Connor said, and the creature vanished just as quickly as it had appeared. Connor looked around the courtroom, but he didn't see anything. The creature reappeared a moment later and stole the treasury just as the Tin Woodman and Peter were about to follow Alex and Mother Goose inside. A sinister laugh echoed through the courtroom, but it didn't come from any of them. What is happening? Peter asked. Connor felt like his heart was beating out of his chest. We're not alone. He was just as terrified to say it as they were to hear it. A thump echoed through the courtroom. Like condensation evaporating from a window, a shield of invisibility disappeared from thousands and thousands of figures that had been hiding inside the courtroom this entire time. I did not remember this. Lloyd and his villain army hadn't traveled into the fairy tale world after all. They were right here. Whoa, Lloyd said. Looks like my brave little niece and nephew came all this way for nothing. Connor's uncle appeared by the throne. He was standing with Captain Hook, the Queen of Hearts, and the Wicked Witch of the West. Sophie, you came at a crazy time. I know, honey, it is crazy. It's crazy town, right, baby girl? Yeah. Captain Hook was a tall man with a long, dark, curly hair, and he wore a black hat and a heavy coat with massive shoulders. Notoriously, his right hand was missing and had been replaced by a large metal hook. The Queen of Hearts was a hideous woman. She had an abnormally large head and a wide mouth, and her face was unpleasantly flush at all times. She wore a golden crown and a large, unflattering gown with mismatched patterns of hearts. Baby, what's wrong? What's wrong, sweetheart? Here, look. Oh, it's the water mat. Oh, wow. What's there? Can you see all the fishies? Oh, wow. So nice. The Wicked Witch of the West was short and feisty. She had one large visible eye and the other was covered by an eye patch. Are they too scary? Too scary? You don't even know what these words mean. Sweetheart, can you say ba 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 ba? She had 3 braids of thin hair and wore a pointed golden hat that allowed her to control the flying monkeys. Monkey? You think that's silly? Are you trying to do it? Can you say that? That's close. Can you be a baby flying monkey? Maybe next year for Halloween? That would be a really cute costume to have the Wicked Witch and like the wizard and a baby flying monkey. Very cute. She had a magical umbrella that she used as a cane when she walked. The seats above them were filled with their infamous subordinates who cheered for their respective commanders. There were thousands of men and women in yellow armor that made up the Winky Army. They stared off into space as the Wicked Witch had brainwashed them. The witch's wolves, crows, bees, and flying monkeys stood and flew among them. Yeah. Hi, pretty baby. Do do do. I know. There were also hundreds of pirates. They were the most notorious and monstrous and ragged-looking men. Hook's infamous sidekick, Mr. Smee, was among them. He was awkward and fat and a balding man with a gray beard and striped blue pants. The Queen of Hearts playing card soldiers were stationed throughout the courtroom as well. They were 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide. They bore numbers and symbols of hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds. The White Rabbit was among them and so terrified by the creatures around them that he covered his eyes with his ears. Oh, honey. She's eating peanut butter and yogurt banana. That's okay. Are you all done? Are you all done? Are we going to finish tomorrow? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, you guys. She's all done. Are you all done? Can you say all done? Yeah, all done. You want breakfast? Okay, we'll finish it tomorrow. We read a lot, though. We got through a lot of stuff, huh? We're in a whole new world now. Yes, you can yell at them. That's fine. Sorry. Okay, we're going to go. Say bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you later. Breakfast time. Bye, guys.